What's good, guys? It's Joshua here. In today's video, I'll be taking you guys through a new sales funnel that is telling how epoxy flooring contractors are winning more jobs. This is not the typical ads to leads to appointments to sales funnel. Rather, in this funnel, we'll be educating your prospects before they even talk to you, so that at the time they are booking a call or at the time they are calling you, they're just ready to buy. They're ready to buy your service. They're ready to give it all to you. They're not there to price shop or whatsoever, compete on price or argue on pricing. So without much further ado, let's dive. Make sure to gain some value. Yes, let's dive into it. So basically, just as I've mentioned, this is the simple sales funnel that most epoxy businesses have within their business. They run the ads, they try and get the leads, they try and set the appointments, and then they struggle to get, or rather to close the job. And basically, sometimes it's not usually on their side, it's just the process, the funnel that they've implemented in the business that is causing the hiccups in terms of the closing part of the business, or in terms of the closing aspect of things. So they are not able to close more jobs because of this sales process in entirety, beginning from the ads. So guys, you need to understand that while you're running if you're a business who's running this simple sales funnel, you need to understand that you are going to end up working with less quality people, less quality people in, you know what I mean, those who are not really interested in your service. You're going to end up working with less qualified leads, and so you end up struggling and working in this back and forth cycle of chasing leads and working with tire kickers, people who are just there working with your price, rather leads who are price sensitive, if I can say so. So the new process that I'm going to show you is going to enable you to warm your prospects so much that by the time they're calling you, by the time you are getting into a call with them, they're ready to buy. So this process is going to enable you to warm up your prospects so much to the point that the sales resistance that is always there, the objections are always there, going to be broken down, and so this will in turn help you increase the appointment show up rate and increase your closing rate. So our goal here is that the lead to appointment rate goes to 65% and the appointment to sell rate goes to 30 to 50%. And by the way, these are real numbers. The lead to appointment rate in the flooring industry is 50%, and the appointment to closing rate is 30%. So most epoxy flooring contractors happen to be here. If you're a good closer, 30% is the max if you're a good closer. So if you are really trying, probably most of you are currently doing 20%. So the simple step funnel, the new sales funnel that we are currently testing and rolling out, that which I'm going to show you in this video, is going to enable you to record an increase in your closing rate, and also an increase similarly to an increase in your appointment rate. So let's get straight to it. So we need to ask ourselves first this question: what can we add to this process I'm about to show you so that your business stands out from the rest and you increase your closing rate? The answer is simple: education, and I'll get to that in a moment. So basically, the sales funnel from the start remains the same. Run ads. That is what I'll advise you guys to do. I'll never stop advising this. You must run ads if you want to get there quickly, if you want to have that quick visibility and attract and generate demand quickly for your business. Run ads, and for most of the part, we run Facebook and Instagram ads. So we'll be running FB and IG ads, and we're not just running any basic ads whatsoever. We'll be running very high. In our ads, we'll be having high compelling visuals. We'll be having targeted messaging in our ads so that we're able to attract the right ideal customer profile, or rather the right leads, the quality leads that we want. So you need to understand that as a business, as you're running this, if you're a business and you're using this simple sales funnel, you need to understand this. You running this simple sales funnel itself has no problem. But here's the problem: you're getting cold leads. What do I mean by cold leads? These are people who do not know you yet. These are people who have just been scrolling randomly on Facebook. They're just on Facebook scrolling, and they don't know you yet. They don't know your company. They don't know what epoxy flooring. Some do not even know what epoxy flooring is. They don't know your service. They don't even understand what value you're trying to give through the ad that you're running. And so if you're running this simple sales funnel, you'll end up working with the wrong people. So this is where the education part, or the education aspect of things, comes into play. Yes, we are running the ad, but as it has always been the norm, you run the ad and you send the traffic to the lead form. They sign, they fill in their contacts, they fill in their emails and all that. That has always been the norm. So instead of running an ad and sending the ad traffic to a get a quote form or a lead form, we're going to be sending our ad traffic to an educative, or rather an education landing page. Here's the thing: you need to understand that as you're running these ads, not everyone who's seeing your ad knows what epoxy flooring is yet. Not everyone knows the benefits of epoxy flooring. They don't know the durability. They don't know what it costs. They don't know how to maintain epoxy floors and all that. So how will they know about that if you do not educate them? That is why if you're running this simple sales funnel without having the aspect of educating your leads, then you end up working with people who are just less qualified, people who are not even interested in your service. So this is where education comes into place. So what you're going to do here is that after these guys have seen the ad, we're sending them to an education landing page. And so it is from this education landing page where we are going to take them through whatever we have in this landing page, educative content. We are going to be giving them so much value, so much free value, so much educative value, be it before and after transformations, metallic epoxy flow benefits and all that. We're going to be telling them the long-term benefits of having epoxy flow, how to maintain the flows. At least they have this gist or idea of really what they're seeing. So by this, they'll be having an idea, okay, this is what epoxy flows are. And so for someone who has never heard of epoxy flow and has clicked your ad and now is looking at your landing page, they leave having an idea of what they've actually seen. And most of those people that you're going to be targeting through our ads are homeowners. And perhaps most of them have never heard or seen, or most of them do not even know or understand what epoxy flow is in itself. And so this is just why education is important. This is why we're adding education in our funnel. The other reason is you need to understand that most people who do not know what epoxy flooring is, or perhaps most people who know what it is, they'll see epoxy flooring just as another expense. They're not seeing it as an investment. They're not seeing it as something that can increase their property value. They're not seeing it as something that can increase their aesthetic value of their home. So what do? We need to educate them. At least tell them the benefits. Tell them how epoxy flooring can increase their property value. Tell them how epoxy flooring can increase their aesthetic home value and all that. So this is why education is important. So in this landing page, we'll be basically taking them through the best flake systems on the market, 6 steps for a brand new flow, smooth, durable, and non-slip surface, just telling them the benefits of the epoxy flow and all that, explaining them our processes, taking them through strong, giving them strong before and after transformations, showing them this is what we're going to be doing. And then it is from this that they actually, from the landing page, this is when they become a lead. And guys, I actually apologize, I didn't mention this. Anyone who's seeing your ad is not your client yet. These are just random strangers who are going through Facebook, who are scrolling on Facebook. They don't have anything to do with your ad whatsoever. They just saw your ad and they saw it intriguing, so they decided, let me see more. And perhaps these people are potential clients of yours, but they are homeowners. Remember, we are targeting, when you're running ads, we usually target homeowners. We usually target people with garage floors, not garage floors, but rather homeowners. We target people with residence and all that. So these are people who are not interested in your service. They don't know you. They've never heard of your company and all that. So if you're running these ads and we take them through to this landing page, we take them through all this education, they leave having an idea of what they have been looking for and of what they want. So if it's a homeowner who has been maybe looking for a solution on how his floors on his garage needs to be done, and they get to see this, they've never seen anything to do with epoxy flow. At least they have an idea right now because we've given them the education. They have the basics of what an epoxy flow entails. So after we've taken them through this landing page, they now become a lead. They now become a potential client. So see where I'm getting to. So after they become a lead, we need to make sure that in the same landing page, we have the booking page, or rather we have the booking form embedded in the same landing page. Remember guys, we want to make this process as frictionless as possible. We don't want them leaving the landing page, the education landing page, and then going to the next page. No, we want to make it as easy as possible to reduce any friction whatsoever. So once they're a lead, these are interested people. These are potential clients of yours. They're interested in whatever you're offering, and we must ensure that we give them so much value, so much education, to the point that they are so interested in this. After they become a lead, they book an appointment. They give us their details. They give you the name, the contact, their service area, where they stay, their phone numbers, and all that. Once they book the appointment, and once they do all that, now they become an appointment. Once they book the appointments, now we redirect them to a thank you page. So this is what is going to happen. Once these guys have booked in the appointment and all that, and we have redirected them to this page, we're not stopping. Remember guys, some of these guys still are dealing with limiting beliefs. You need to understand that we're living in a time where the issue of trust is really key. For you as a business, if you don't have key trust elements, then you're going to really lose. And these key trust elements are things like case studies and basically testimonials showing how you've made stunning epoxy floors for your past clients and all that. So if you don't have key trust elements, then you're going to really lose as a as a business. So once they've booked an appointment, we are going to have two options here. We either take them to a thank you page where we just tell them, basically it's not taking them to a basically thank you for booking an appointment page. No, rather, once you've brought them to this thank you page, we're going to continue hitting them with this amount of educational content. We're going to hit them with the content so much. We're not going to stop. And this is where most guys get it wrong. Most guys will only take the client through that journey of the lead to the appointment, and after that stop reaching out. And that is where most epoxy flooring contractors get it wrong. If you stop reaching out, if you stop following out with this appointment, your potential client, they become, what do you think they become? They become cold. And if they become cold, at this time, if you stop following up, if you stop sending content, if you stop reaching out to them, they become cold leads again. Why? Because if you stop forcing yourself, or if you stop putting yourself as top of mind to them, they now decide maybe they'll be either maybe looking at other options, looking at competitors. So it is in this point where, after you've taken them to the thank you page, we're going to be hitting them with so much content. We're going to be hitting them with so much content, be it content on cost breakdowns, how you guys are charging for your epoxy floors. We're going to be hitting them with contents showing client success stories. We're going to be hitting them with content showing case studies, showing testimonials, and all that, showing how epoxy benefits them and all that, showing how they need to maintain their floors and all that. Basically, what we're trying to do, we're trying to reduce the objections that would have been there whatsoever. We're trying to lower every objection whatsoever. And it's not only that. Number one, we are increasing trust. We are enforcing our trust and value based on the content that we're giving us. From this point, the client already know these guys are the best. Actually, these guys are my choice. I'm going to choose them because of the multiple amounts of contents that you're pushing to these guys. So it is from this point, after the thank you page, we're not stopping from here. We'll be following up, giving them and blasting them with content, giving them so much value, so much content, so that by the time these guys are booking, these guys are getting to the call, they already know what they need. Basically, they're so excited, they're so confident because they now, number one, they trust you, they know who you are, they know your company, they know your service, they know how you're going to deliver. They've seen what you've done to past clients who are similar to them. So you basically lower your objections. So when you're getting to the sales call, when you're talking to them, there is nothing like, oh, I need to talk to my wife, oh, I need to think about this. Some even say I need to talk to my dog, I need to talk to my basically get what I'm saying. So the time they're reaching on the sales call, you basically close the deal, you close the job, and you've won. So guys, it's all about education. It's all about education, educating these guys, giving them and blasting them with so much content, so much value, so much education content, to the point that they already trust you, they already know you're credible, they already know you're going to deliver what you are saying. They know that you're a man of your words because they've seen it. They've seen even you making it possible for clients who are similar to them. And so there's that aspect of trust and social proof. If you don't have strong case studies, strong testimonials that don't speak for potential clients, it will be very difficult. And that is why you need, as a business, to be providing this. You need to have strong case studies. You need to have strong testimonials within your educative landing page. And so guys, this is just it. Once these guys are on the sales call, there is nothing. You don't even appear to be so salesy. There is no pressure whatsoever. The client has lowered down their guard. The sales resistance that was here, were you not to have this educative landing page or educative content, the sales resistance goes down, way down. These guys are so excited, they're ready to have their floors done. And so this is what takes us here. Once you have this is what the marketing kings do. They run the ads, they take the ad traffic to the education landing page. What does this do? It increases trust, provides free value, it increases the authority. They now see you as an advisor, not just a contractor. They trust you. It increases your credibility. Now, after the education, after educating them, at least they have an idea of what your company entails. They know what you're offering. They know the benefits you're giving. They now become a lead. It is from this point that you now start noticing the lead to appointment show up rate increases to 65%. Hence, appointment, the distance between the appointment to the sales rate increases to 50% because of education, because of educating them. And just as I told you guys, what you're going to do here, you have two options. After they book the appointment, we either redirect them to the thank you page, or rather, we'll be sending automated SMS and email sequences to them. So we'll be capturing them through our CRM, and then we'll be sending them automated SMS and email sequences. So we'll be doing this from the day they book the appointment to the day you'll be having the appointment with them. So we'll be sending this automated SMS and email sequences in in a drip sequences, rather not in drip sequences, but rather we'll be sending them in gaps. For instance, let's just assume if for instance today's on 14th, they booked an appointment on 14th, we'll be sending them an appointment. We'll be sending them video or other educational content just to ensure that the lead remains warm. We'll be sending the educational content perhaps on Saturday, next on Monday. So if the appointment, if you agreed the appointment is next week on Wednesday, perhaps we'll make sure we send them content today. We'll make sure we send them content on Saturday. We'll make sure we send them content on Monday. We'll make sure we send them content on Tuesday. And this content entails, just as I've told you, testimonials, case studies. We blast them as much. These guys are going to always, they're always going to ensure that you remain on the top of their minds. There'll not be anyhow whatsoever. They'll not be scrolling on Google, trying to go on Google and looking for epoxy contractors on Google, because you're sending them too much content and they already trust you. They already know that you're someone who's trustworthy. And so when even getting to the sales call, you don't have to compete with price. If you're even charging a 7.5k deal for a two car garage, you don't have to debate, you don't have to argue. They're ready to give you the money because they can see the value that you've given. So they're not going to argue whatsoever on price. They already know you are worth it. They already know your worth. They've already seen your value. So even if you perhaps charge a 6k deal for a two car garage, for a 2-floor garage, it's well with you. And so guys, this is the process, the simple sales funnel process that I wanted to show you guys. So after the leads, now you see there's increase in trust. You provide free value, you increase your authority and credibility, which leads to what? High lead to appointment percentage, and also now resulting to a high closing rate of 50%. So this is currently something that we are currently testing out in our company. And so yeah, that's it. So if you want this simple sales and funnel process, or rather I would just encourage, this is something that you can look into as an epoxy flooring business. This is something that you can look into. This is something that you can implement in your sales funnel. It will help you tremendously. Anyways, that's it guys. That was it for this video. Hope you guys gained much value as possible. Please be sure to subscribe and possibly share out what was of value in this video. Anyways, thanks for it. That's it for today. Till next time. Peace.